Okay, so optional, we can peruse the exhibit. Okay, let's save here.
Was that truly necessary? And our knights would chop liver?
I swear it. I'll scratch her eyes out.
Oh, wow. That's extreme. Hello. I've come to steal the food that you are currently eating. Might we do that? You can examine this, but, not entirely sure why that's glowing red, or is that a piece of paper, actually? Or is that just the wine? Letter from the wife of Count Belladon. My dearest, everything here is good. For several days now, the sun has been shining and is quite hot. So the window in Clarissa's room is open almost all day. If you could see her little face when the rays of sunlight hit it, pure joy. It just looks like she was before the accident. If it gets a bit warmer, I'll have her chair taken out to the garden. The day before yesterday, Master Boivarde's wife, Alyssa, visited us. You remember her, don't you? When the Boivards moved to Kovir, all the society ladies were scared of inviting her to dine, as she seemed to be either mad or some sort of self-taught witch. This was all because, despite not having the right education, she made magic ointments and cosmetics. It is said that she spent 3 years in the Dragon Mountains learning from some elven sorceress. You know I don't pay much heed to gossip, which is why, when the butler announced her, I immediately invited her in for a glass of lemonade. Turns out that she is an exceedingly charming person, and stories of her alleged witchcraft are highly exaggerated. She actually studied for 3 years at Aretusa, but because of some bad investments made by her father, plants and their magical application. She had to leave the academy. She left, however, with a good knowledge of plants and their magical applications. She brought with her a healing ointment, which I have to rub in Clarissa's legs each morning and evening for 10 days. When the treatment is complete, Alyssa promises to visit us again to see the results and advise us further. I have a good feeling about this woman. In my next letter, I'll tell you what happened with the treatment as she recommended. Take care of yourself, my dearest. I beg that you don't overreact and do something silly. If something happened to you, I wouldn't know what to do. I love you, Arabella. Okay. Don't know if we'll hear more about that later on. But, does raise some suspicion. Is this really some trustworthy lady, or is she truthfully someone who's just trying to sabotage innocent people, and that's not exactly a healing ointment as much as it's some kind of cursed ointment? Who knows? Maybe it's fine. Hopefully it's fine. Whoa! Dog just jumped over the table. I mean, let's be honest. Dog hanging out this place with all this food, it wouldn't just be chilling here, hopping over the tables. It would be eating everything. No baguette would be safe. The wine also probably not the best thing to have out with the dogs around. Okay, but, ooh, what do we have here? Okay, so let's just double check. So we can talk to Count Belladon, but I imagine, we'd like to peruse the exhibit first. So remember, this was the guy that we went hunting, air quotes, with. And he ended up basically taking pictures, which he said that he would use to make paintings, and it looks like that might be what we're looking at right here, and that's the guy right there. Let's read the notice board first, and then we'll check that out, I think. Armorer at your service. Hey there, knight. Traveled from far to visit our beautiful land? Your shining armor lose its shine en route, perhaps in one of those rowdy skirmishes you knights love to throw yourselves into, paying no heed to how much your armor suffers as a result? Well, you're in luck, for no matter the cause or the extent of the damage, I can fix it. Our prices are very reasonable, especially compared to those in Beauclair, where you'll be lucky to pay just an arm and a leg. Come see me, you won't regret it. Lucien the Armor. I imagine that's probably the guy we were talking to before. Died Wanted. This is probably the guy we were just doing that quest with previously. In my capacity as a scholar at the Imperial Academy, I've spent the better part of the last 2 decades studying ancient elven culture. Maybe not. My most recent research bears the working title, The Influence of Elven Architecture on Human Structures. I'm aware the Caraberta Woods have been classified as extremely dangerous by the Ducal Guard, but to a true scholar, the quest for knowledge is what matters most, more even than life itself. Oh dear. That is why I seek a local hunter or knight to be my guide and guard. Serious offers only. It sounds very similar to what we just did with the monsters and this guy that we were talking to who took the pictures of them and is now painting them. This time, just architecture rather than monsters. Players the one and only true Gwent wanted. Are we just going to see advertisements for the Gwent tournament everywhere? In every single city? I feel like we might. We can also use the other Skellige leader in an interesting way. So it's what? That's the one that brings the cards out of our graveyard and back into our deck? What are some clever ways to do that? Or make that work? Thinking of cards that can summon things from our deck back onto the playing field, and that would probably be things like the musters would benefit most from that. Because usually what happens is you play a muster once, and then you can't really benefit from that group of musters again. Like, if everything's hanging out in your graveyard, you could bring something... You could bring one of those muster units back with a medic, but you can't bring the other ones back along with it, because they're still hanging out in your graveyard, and muster doesn't summon from your graveyard. But if everything is hanging out in your deck, and then you have a way of re-triggering that muster, then that could work. But then the question is, how do you re-trigger it? Because you need to have a way of not only getting them... So you use the leader ability to get the muster cards back into your deck, but you need to find a way to get the cards from your deck into your hand, which is not that straightforward. I mean, short of potentially a spy, but that's not guaranteed. So that at least immediately comes to mind. Okay, maybe we'll talk about it later in that case. Well, let's see. Players... So yeah, players the one and only true Gwent wanted. That person, Count Monnier, insists on messing up Gwent. So I've decided to say, I don't like him, and organize a tournament of my own. Oh, is this a different Gwent tournament? I cannot promise you all Is that can or cannot? Promise you all monsters, or Monnier's... I don't know why I'm thinking monsters, but Monnier's finery, so I ain't as rich as that dude. You can be sure, however, that unlike at Monnier's, we'll play the one and only true Gwent, with no bad Skellige faction. Ah, interesting. I wonder what happens if you try to go there and try to play Skellige. Do they just immediately kick you out and you fail? Looking for a damsel in distress sounds like a knight-errant. I'm a novice knight-errant, yup, exactly. And I'd like to gain renown for a heroic deed. If you know of a damsel in distress, let me know. I'd prefer one imprisoned in a tower by a giant. And I'd like her to be no older than myself, that is to say, 20 summers. Oh, and she should be as slender as a reed. Yeah, good luck with your storybook ending. Francois de Valer, I challenge you. You scrawler of spurious slander. I've read your lampoon of my rhyme scheme theory. Challenge you to a literary duel. If you have any shred of dignity and courage about you, come to the next soiree at Lady Oriana's residence with 3 poems prepared. We will recite in turns, and then subject ourselves to the judgment of the literary men and women present. Not respectfully, as you deserve no respect, and no signature, as you know very well who wrote this message. Oh man! It's about to go down. Rap battles incoming. Hortense Vineyard closed until further notice. I don't think we've heard of that vineyard before. During an attack by hideous creatures resembling overgrown insects. Insects? Yeah, what, overgrown insects? I mean, it could be, well, I mean, technically, we see the big spiders, but those are, technically, those are arachnids? That's actually a different, class? That's actually a different, or is it class or phylum? Phylum? Phylum, right? I don't know. I forget. But, so, presumably that means you're not referring to giant spiders, but instead, I don't know, Andrigas? Kikimores, probably. The owner of the Hortense Vineyard sustained serious injuries. As the threat is still present, Hortense Vineyard will be closed until further notice. Our sincere apologies. Okay, that also gives us more undiscovered locations. Do we actually get any quests, though? No. Interesting. Interesting. I figured we might. Okay, so admittedly, I'm not checking at all to see if there are any guards here. He says, is there guards directly behind him? Apparently they don't care that we just stole all that food. What is this, though? Accounts ledger. Order for wine from Toussaint. Okay, you got lots of ingredients, yes, but what of them? Why was it glowing red as if it was a quest item? Strange. There's, again, that dog jumping through / over the table of food. Okay, now let's check out this exhibit here.
Watch it.
We talk to the curator, or do we just examine? Let's talk to the curator.
The subject of the ice cycle. Such an opportunity. Enjoy the exhibit.
Okay, so we had, what? One instance of a panther, and then 2 of the giant centipedes? Oh, and they got us with it as well. We're part of the art piece! Except, you know, it's like, it's clearly locked up. That bear trap does kind of take away from it a bit. That one's very artsy. It's got us finding the giant centipede and him giving us this really weird look through his camera glasses. Whoa! Oh, I did not tell Geralt to do that. And then this one, the peacocks. Okay, I guess. Yeah, it's not just like it's a carbon copy of the screenshot of what we were doing. Because obviously there was not the peacock was not 2 times the size of Geralt's. There were some artistic liberties taken to spice it up a bit. Now let's chat. Yeah, the duck face as well. Very strong duck face. Absolutely.
Such an opportunity. Enjoy the exhibit.
Greetings and welcome.
Both male and female Beauclair centipedes are formidable predators.
Oh,
The
that
beasts
they are.
prefer to hunt in packs. Yet the author of this extraordinary work was able to capture a lone specimen preparing to attack. Cast your eye on the hunter, who, though fully aware of the danger, wears a look of cold determination on his face as he awaits the optimal moment to strike.
That's us.
Geralt, you're here.
Just the, you know,
Come, please.
the model is all.
I'm delighted to see you. I have a small gift for you, and I shan't let you refuse.
Hmm.
You are free to sell it, of course. Though
Oh.
I would be honoured were you to hang it in your home. Thanks.
That we probably will. White Wolf by Count Belladon. Nice. How is your daughter doing?
Talked to your guards back at the camp. Told me about Clarissa. Sorry to hear about her accident.
Thank you. Kind words that mean a great deal to me.
How's Clarissa these days? Probably can't wait for you to get back.
To get her gifts, you mean? I've dispatched 2 already. She'll not need to wait for my return.
Nice.
En route home, I mean to pass through Dol Blathana. They say one can see Sylvans there.
Yeah,
Oh.
actually happen to know one. Name's Torquay. He can be mean, but for the right fee, he'll do anything you ask.
Splendid. I thank you for the hint.
Tell him I send my regards.
Okay, I have no idea who that person is, but apparently Geralt knows them. Probably from the books. How is the exhibition going? Seems like it's doing pretty well. You got a bit of a crowd here.
Good crowd. You got a lot of friends. All of them seem to be fawning over your paintings, too.
Oh, when you have as much coin as I do, friends buzz around like flies on fresh meat. They praise you to
You don't think
high
it's
heavens
legit?
for each trip, burp, and sneeze. Not all are lying sycophants, that's not what I mean. Just most, unfortunately.
Ah,
Why bother? Why even invite them around?
I'm a man of enterprise. I must put my trade before any personal hatreds or sympathies. Besides, at times, I'll exhibit a completely failed painting just to listen to them twist their tongues into knots, trying to find just the right superlatives to lather on smeared rubbish. Naturally, the more intense
Devious.
someone is to get into my good graces, the louder they praise my masterpiece. It's devilish fun, I tell you.
very clever. I like it. Well, glad to hear it looks like things are working out well for you.
Nice meeting you. So long now.
Alright. Quest complete. And we picked up the painting as well, which I think we will, at some point in time, hang up somewhere in our home. And we do have a tavern in here as well. Why don't we poke our heads in here? This could very well be a place where we can place more people like Gwent. Anyone special for us to chat with here? Oh. Pure chicken spittle. Are you just random workers? You don't have anything else to say to us? I don't think. I think these are all just random peoples. Yeah, we'll interrupt the bards. 2 blades, actually. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, let's chat.
And welcome to my humble establishment. What land do you hail from?
Been on the road so long, don't know how to answer that.
The north,
Let's
generally
just say I'm
speaking.
from the north.
Yeah.
Ah, is it true what they say about the war, death, destruction all about?
Yeah, you know, your country is
Exaggerated.
waging war on
Not by much, though.
all the north.
Oh,
You're not wrong.
forgive my asking
Was,
about
at least.
my family in Edern, see? So
Oh.
I'm curious. But please, do tell me what I can do for you.
Yeah, see, Eddern's, Eddern doesn't really exist anymore.
Mentioned you have a family in Eddern. Whereabout, if you don't mind my asking?
In Vengerberg? Been there,
Ah.
perhaps?
Know someone.
Yeah, number of times. It's the hometown of my...
Maybe we don't go
someone
that far.
very dear to me. At any rate, pretty town, Vengerberg. Also didn't suffer too much during the invasion, from what I know.
Phew. That is a relief to hear. A weight off my shoulders, I tell you.
Okay, so we can play you at Gwent. Let's see what else you have, though.
Selling?
And not so surprisingly, the answer is wine. And basically all of the other treats we were seeing outside there. Now, let's just see if there's any other, like, junk we could sell to you. We did break down a lot of it previously, so I don't think there's going to be much. But while we're here, might as well see, like, we can just sell a quick round of rope ladders and fishing rods and all this stuff. Just so that we aren't getting weighed down by this too much. Whoa, that's actually enough bear hide to be worth something. I was gonna say, out of curiosity, how much does all this parchment weigh? It actually is starting to weigh a bit. And you got big stacks of paper. They do add up. They definitely do start to add up. And we could also just sell our precious metal stuffs. Or even, yeah, the boar tusks, I think, are something that we should just sell outright. Not that. We don't sell our currency. That's not the way that works. It's not the way that works. You sell that. Sell this. And you do still have some monies remaining here. We have so much glass. Is glass used for crafting components? It is not a crafting component itself, but we can break it down. I don't remember what it breaks down into, but I don't think it's really any good. I think we just sell all of it, to tell you the truth. It is easy enough to get more of it, because, you know, we get things like bottles that we can, and vials that we can use to make more if totally necessary, but I don't think it is. I mean, exchanging money is sort of, so I guess you could say, yeah, it's basically selling money on an exchange. Yeah. We're just not, you know, exchanging money, because this is not someone who is buying our money to convert to a different kind of money. So at least on this occasion, no. But yeah, point taken. Point taken. If we were talking to Vivaldi, then that might be the case, but on this occasion, it is not. Okay, maybe that's probably good enough here. Now let's play you at Gwent. What would you say to round up Gwent?
You play much Gwent? Up for a quick match, maybe?
Okay, so it always catches me off guard. As soon as this screen opens up and then suddenly they just start rambling at us. So we do now have the additional Shield Maiden. And so Skellige is now actually potentially significantly stronger as long as we get Ceres. And that does mean that we might be able to, say, dump some of our other cards that don't go along with that synergy as much, just to quote-unquote thin our deck a bit here, make it more likely for us to get our biggest cards. Like, the Uncrate Warrior can be good, but it's best when we have all three of them. And given the size of our deck, there's a pretty low probability of getting all three of them in our hand at the same time. So I think we try to dump all of you. That should help thin things out quite a bit. I think it's easier to make that work with Muster, because you can just summon them from our deck, but now the Longship is Type Bond as well. Could potentially dump them, although no, we do need the unit cards. Okay, so we do need to have you in. So yeah, in that case, I think that brings our deck to a pretty reasonable size. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize. I did not even see that it lists our total unit card strength there. That's interesting. It's a little misleading at times, because of course, for example, with Skellige, we have cards like Olaf that have 12 strength, which is a lot, but they also give +1 strength to all their units. We have the Cow that is a 0, but then summons the Bovine Protector, which is an 8. So it's, in truth, a lot higher than the number that you see there, but that is interesting to see, and in some situations could be a helpful tool to figure out how best to optimize your deck. But anyways, let's hop in here. Okay, so whoa. Ever really need 2 Martyrums? I mean, you have some cards that go Berserk in the melee row and some that go Berserk in the range row, so it's possible. And in fact, we do have both those cards in this situation. So okay, point taken. Maybe it is worth doing. We have 1 Shield Maiden. I think we dump the Shield Maiden. And if we get Ceres, then that's awesome. Longship is probably the next candidate. Olaf is good. And we got... what with that last card? Oh, we got another Shield Maiden. Okay. Not great. Well, that's not a great card for them either. So hopefully that means we're in decent shape here. Let's see. This is similar to the Cow, right? Have we... oh, we got this once, right? I think we... and by got this, I mean, we've played this once previously. This is... does this give us Hemdall at the end of the round? I think so. So why don't we lead off with our 2 0-strength units. Oh, whoa. Okay, that's a strange use of a decoy. But if you insist, okay, we'll continue to play 0-strength cards. If you want to Scorch both of them, you theoretically could. Classic strat. Play a card, decoy to bring it back into your hand, and then play it again. It works for medics, so that you can bring back multiple cards from your graveyard. Doesn't really work for cards with no special abilities to trigger when you play them. Oh, and you canceled our leader ability. Okay, so that does mean that weather effects are in full effect. So... do we have any way to get additional cards? No. So there's no chance of us getting other Shield Maidens, which means we could play this now, but in theory we'd like to play all of our melee cards along with Dandelion. Just make sure they're playing in the same round. That way Dandelion is boosting as many cards as possible. So in that case, I think that means we're probably going with you in the range row, and then we'll go Martyrdom on our next turn in all likelihood, unless we can make you work after that. But at the moment, it would just destroy itself. So one step at a time. You first. Okay, again, type bond units, but you don't have the stuff to go along with them. So, as of right now, this does not work. This does, but also does put a target on the Berserker's back. It's probably fine, because we'll bring him back in round 3 if necessary, using our faction ability, but he may get destroyed now. Oh man, you have every type of type bond unit, but only one of them. That is extremely unfortunate. I'm sorry. Okay, so, I mean, we could go with the Berserker and then go Martyrdom to transform it as well. Otherwise, yeah, it would probably be you, the Shield Maiden, because at this stage we're looking at cards that ideally we would be saving for a future round, but round 1 is certainly winnable here, and I would feel pretty sad if we lost to this setup here. So, let's go a little bit aggressive here with the Berserker. Does mean that we are pretty much committing to playing at least one more card. But that's good that they keep on playing then, because that means we have further reason to do this. Okay, so as we were talking about in our most recent Gwent match, I think Skellig is particularly good when it comes to playing really long round 1s, because our faction ability is so strong in round 3 that we could have 0 cards remaining in our hand and then just rely exclusively on that, and at least we get 2 cards out there. We also have the carryover coming from both Camby and the Cow, so I think for all those reasons, it's pretty okay for us to go aggressive here in round 1. We could even go for that really big combo we were talking about before with all of our melee units together. Let's ease into that a little bit, though, because if we play the Shield Maiden here, that is still enough for us to pass them. We can save the big stuff, just in case we don't need them here, although that is a pretty big card. So, this would still destroy us, right? Yeah. We definitely aren't playing you. Do we Olaf or Dandelion? I mean, either or. Potentially both, depending on how long they're willing to play. I think we go... That shouldn't matter much. Okay, yeah, they're still playing. They just barely hold on to the lead there. But this is the big one. This is the combo we're looking for. All this stuff. Gonna be hard for them to keep pace here. Yeah, so they'll pass. We take round 1. We did play 1 additional card. But like I said, because we have so much carryover value, not too worried about that. So there go our 2 cards. And they only have 2 cards with which to pass them, so we're not going to play anything here. Just going to rely on these guys, which might be enough. But that's big, though. Okay, I mean, happy for them to get rid of it here. But what do they get out of it? Oh, 10 power unit. Well played. Okay, so now our faction ability triggers here. That's the other reason why I was so... Oh, no! The other reason why I was so willing to do this What? They just bailed us out. Wouldn't that would normally give us the cards back from our graveyard, but oh man, except we're actually gonna tie here. We're actually gonna tie here. So we got back our 2 0-power units with our faction ability, which was a very low probability of happening. But so we got no value out of that, and then our 1 card remaining will destroy itself when we play it. What are the chances of this happening? What are the chances of this happening? Man, extremely low. Extremely low. That is amazing. Oh, and then their Nilf cards thing went on the tie, so it actually works for them. Ah, I wanted it to end in a tie. I wanted it to end in a tie after all that. Oh, man. What a match. That was beautiful indeed. I want to know... I should have double-checked how many units we had in our graveyard just to see what was the probability of getting both of our 0-power cards out there in round 3, and then their last card happened to be Scorched to remove all of them, so they didn't have any power themselves, but then our 1 card remaining also destroyed itself. Just crazy low probability of that being the case, but that was pretty hilarious. Okay, well, so attempt number 2.
See you again. What do you need?
Well, we would like to play you at Gwent. Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah. Could have potentially gone with the other leader. Okay, let's still go all in here.
You play much Gwent? Up for a quick match, maybe?
Of course, we'll talk without some carrot.
Okay, so... is that reason enough to switch it here? I don't think we saw a single weather ability. In which case... I guess there's no real downside to using this. Sure. Okay. Okay. So, we'll see what we get in terms of our hand. Last time, we had very much a Berserker-focused hand. Scorch, Martyrdom, so that means we can convert this young Berserker. We have a medic. I don't think we had any medics last time. We actually have type bond units that go together. Oh, we have Ceres. Okay, that's a game changer. Yeah, this hand is way better. Okay. We could just stick with this, to tell you the truth. If we're greedy, we could try to swap out the long ships and see what else we could get. But I do really like how our hand does not have any shield maidens right now, so that means we're getting the maximum value out of Ceres. So I think we stick with it in that case, and try not to risk wasting a card by switching this out and getting a shield maiden that we would have otherwise gotten from Ceres anyway. Okay, so we can deliberately, in that case, we play not our... We play our weak-ish cards in round 1, then play our best cards in round 2, then use our leader ability so that only our... Yeah, use our leader ability before round 2 ends, so that way we get only our best cards back for round 3, is the way that would work. And if we're doing that... True, they did cancel our leader ability though, so we can't do it. Yeah, I guess it didn't matter which one we were going to use anyway. So. I do like to lead off with leaders. Let's not go Ceres yet, because this is, of course, our biggest play, so we want to try to save her until we feel like we absolutely need her. Okay, but now they have a 10 strength unit, so suddenly we are much safer from Scorch. Now, I was thinking we might want to set up the Berserker. Do we have... So he'll... Once he converts, We'll boost other range row units. We actually don't have many of them. Yalmer's a hero, so it won't affect him. We can play Olaf there. That's just about it, though. Huh. So this actually, arguably, we should have swapped out the Berserker, or the Young Berserker, and the Martyrum. Although, like I said, in some ways, I was feeling like we ought to have just played it safe and made sure that we get all the shield maidens with Sarah, so maybe we still stick with this here, but I don't think it's all that powerful given our lack of range cards. We know they have a lot of type bond. That is true. Let's do this now. Oh. Not see them play any spies last time. Okay. That's a little concerning. So now we can go Olaf and boost the Berserker as well. Oh no, it's type bond, right? So we ideally would have another one in there. For some reason I thought I had the same ability as Olaf and we were just gonna have them both boost everyone else in that row. But also trying to think ahead to Berna. I mean, we could deliberately use Berna in round 2 or round 3 to play this spy. May not be a bad idea. And then again, Olaf for 12 points or more is also very good for just one card. So we can get Scorched here. But we do have Berna, so worst comes to worst, we could bring Olaf back. Interesting. Okay. So this is a tricky one. We have a very sizable lead here, but they have 3 card advantage. So we could pass and dare them to try to play more cards to catch up to us. Thing is, they have plenty of cards with which to do that, so it's not out of the question that they could pull it off. If we keep on playing, then they just turn around and pass, and suddenly we have huge card disadvantage for round 2 or 3, and that's going to be hard to come back from. So I think we take this chance and pass here, and hope they give us the win, or that it takes them a bunch of cards to catch up to us, and then suddenly they have little to no card advantage. But this could backfire. This is a strange place we find ourselves in. Okay, so we do take round 1. Okay, so let's take a look at our graveyard here to see what we could have come back. Could have the young Build Carl, could have Olaf, and we could have Vadier. Now, does Vadier work in that if we play him out of our graveyard... Oh, wait, but... No, our faction ability still works. Yeah, so our lead ability doesn't work, so this will still happen. Does our faction ability only bring specifically Skellige units back, or can it bring Vadier out as well? And if it does he just show up as a 4-strength unit on our side, or does he actually show up on their side and we still draw the 2 cards and he works the way he would normally work as if you were playing him out of your hand? Like, does he follow his usual rules? It seemed like last time we saw that Berna did. So I think he will still go to their side and we'll still draw 2 cards from him. It works like it should, and it can happen. Okay. So in that case, I feel like we have some pretty good cards here in our graveyard that could get brought back from our faction ability. So I'm tempted to deliberately either just play Ciri so that we have a hero and someone who won't get summoned back, or just immediately pass so that way we make sure that our faction ability brings back our best cards. Otherwise, if we play things like the long ships, then we risk getting one of the 2 long ships back, and then they're just 6 strength, they're not that good. So it's less optimal. Then again, Nilfgaard wins on ties, so that means if we play nothing here, they don't have to play anything either, and that doesn't really help us much at all, so I think we do play Ciri for that reason. Let's go with this, and then we'll probably pass. Or we could even Scorch, depending on what they play. Ooh, okay. Well, we baited them into playing one of their best cards. What do they bring back? Because we might Scorch it. Well, I don't really want to Scorch it. Also, it's not enough to catch us here. In which case, I think we continue with our plan and pass here. The problem is, although this Scorch, if we were to play it right now, would be very minor, just removing 3 of their strength, it's going to be hard to play it in round 3, because we're going to get back at least 2 of these 3 cards, possibly all 3, once you consider that we have a medic in Berna. And if we have a 12 strength Olaf, it's going to be hard not to Scorch our own Olaf, and then we could bring him back with Berna. After that, I guess, it's not out of the question. It's weird and probably not terribly optimal, but I suppose we live with that chance, and, you know, if they play something big and they double it with Commander's Horn, then that's probably ideal. So we'll take our chances here. Well, there's the Commander's Horn that we would have liked for them to have saved for the next round. Unfortunately, really wish they played something else. What do we get here? Okay, it is going to be Olaf, and it is going to be... It's basically our 2 biggest cards. Well, we can bring Olaf back. Unfortunately, Scorch would still destroy our Vildkarl here, because it is just slightly bigger than the dragon. So that's unfortunate. So I think we wait to use Berna, and we wait to use Scorch. We'd love if they had something else bigger to play, or if they boost this guy up. So I think for now what we can do is we can at least play one of these long ships. That's our way of biding a little bit of time. Okay, perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, because now we can Scorch this. So at least we can now do something with Scorch. That means we can use Berna to bring back our Olaf. And in terms of order of operations here, yeah, I think we do prefer to do that, because I'm planning around them potentially having a Scorch of their own. And if they Scorch... If we play this, the other longship, and they Scorch, then we lose 24 strength, right? Because they'll both double each other up to 12 apiece, and they would both be the highest non-heroes out there. If we play Saris, then we'll get all of our Shieldbanes out there, and then all the Shieldbanes will be the highest non-hero units out there. They'd all get destroyed by the Scorch. Whereas if we play Berna, only Olaf would get destroyed, which I think is still the lowest loss. Or we could go for Vadier. But what do we think are the chances of us getting more than 12 or 13 points of value out of this? It would mean we'd need to have 16, really, from those 2 cards, because you have to subtract the 4 we're giving them by playing Vadier. I think that's not the play here, especially because we have Saris, and we have that risk of if we draw additional cards, we might draw into Shieldbanes, and we don't want to draw into Shieldbanes here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Saris is basically muster, so I think we don't go with the Spy. And there is the Scorch. Okay. So it does get rid of Olaf, but I think we did a good job of making sure that we played these units in this order. So yeah, I think that the next worst card is this, and we save Saris for last. But at this point, we very much do not want them to be Scorching, because this would still hurt a lot. Okay. So this is our last card, and if we're still in the lead here, this will be a very big play. If they have one of their 2 cards as another Scorch, then it might be enough for them to catch us. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good here. Because that is a pretty huge play. But yeah, oh my god, Scorch. Look at how much damage Scorch would do. It would be astronomical. But they don't have it. Thank goodness. Okay. First try. Not really. But, oh, we got Ermion. Okay. That was definitely a card we were eyeing before. Mostly to complement the Vildkarls, because he is a hero, and he spawns in the Mardrum. So let's add him for sure. does mean we could potentially take out other cards. We were thinking about getting rid of the long ships earlier, I think. But we might still need more units, yeah. No, we need more units in our deck, so I don't think we can do that yet. Okay, but I think that's a good pickup.